This video follows on from the video where I showed you how to program the Zelio from the function keys on the Zelio itself. Now we can open up the Zelio software, which is available free off the net. Here I've opened up the program. Now I've plugged the USB connector into the Zelio unit, and now I can actually transfer the program, whatever program is in my module. I can simply click on Module to PC Transfer, and that'll transfer it'll show me what program is currently in my Zelio Smart Relay. Okay, so automatic construction of the program. Click OK. And okay, they show me what's actually in the program that's actually entered into there. We'll talk about the actual elements in a moment. Now, up in the right hand corner here, I'm currently in edit mode. I can switch to simulation mode, or I can switch to monitoring. If I click on monitoring, I'm now going to monitor the actual what's actually happening with the PLC. Or the Zelio Smart Relay. It just takes a few moments to set up. Okay, I'm now set on monitoring mode. Because I was doing the transferring, the unit is not actually in run mode, so I can actually just click here on the run mode to set the smart relay to run. Okay, the inputs I'm using here I'll talk about afterwards. I've got the Z1 and the Z2 inputs here. They're actually special inputs, which utilize the function buttons that we used earlier. It turns the function buttons simply into inputs. So by pressing the first input button, I'll activate Z1. The second, I'll activate Z2. I've got that set up as a normally closed as a stop button. Okay, so monitoring. What I'm going to do now is simply press the first function button on the Zelio unit. And you can see it's activated. It's initiated the internal relay here, which in turn has activated the timer. I've set this timer to 10 seconds. The timer 10 seconds later timed out and switched on the output, which is Q1. I'm now going to press the second function button on the Zelio, and which then shuts down that circuit. Okay, I'll stop that now. And come back to editing mode. I'm going to create a new. I'm now going to create a new file. I'm now going to create a new program. So I can simply now opening a new program. The first thing we end up with is the module selection. So we need to know the number of the number of the relay. This particular one I've got is an SR3 B261B. So SR3 B261B, you can see here. So I'm going to select the SR3 B261B. It's important you select the correct one, otherwise the software won't match when you actually try to download to it. Okay, click on the next button. It's then asking me, is there any? Do I have any extensions? Any module extensions? So I've got no extensions connected to this. So I simply go next. It's then asking me if I want to use ladder or function block diagram. In this case, we're going to use ladder. function blocks is a more advanced function blocks is a new a more advanced way of programming. We're simply going to stick with the ladder logic here. So I've got the ladder logic highlighted. I then click next. It then opens up with a blank screen. I've now got available to me, and I'm in edit mode. Okay, now as we saw before previously, we have 16 inputs and we have 10 outputs on the Zelio smart relay. So when I click on my inputs here, you can see the selection of the of those inputs from 1 through to 16, and that's I for input here. The outputs are the cues. So as you can see, I've got 1 to 10. I got 1 to 10 outputs, or coils. As you can see up here, it's it'll go in the coil section. Okay, so inserting an input, I simply my input 1, I simply left mouse click on it and drag it up and just drop it in. There I've got my first input. I mentioned before the Z keys. The Z keys here are the special keys, the Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4. They're those 4 function buttons on the front of the Zelio. You can use that. You can choose to use those if you wish. So you can set those up as actual inputs, and they may be set up for testing the circuit or something, or testing your any part of the particular circuit you want to set up. And again, that's just left mouse click on the Z1 there, dragging it up and dropping it in. Okay, I'll just delete that one for now. Now I have my relay, my coils, my outputs. Now the Q, as you can see here, you've got Q1. Coming across here, you've got a selection of active on, which is the normal contactor. You've also got active on an edge. So this will switch on when it sees a rising or falling edge. We've got latch activation and also a reset. So just for a normal coil, we select the active on contactor state here. Okay, so don't select the Q1, select this one here. You left mouse click and drag it up and drop it into that coil column. So as you can see, I've got room to put contact 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into there. Okay, now so I've got that set up. I'd want if I'm going to set it up, I'd then say if I want to put a stop button in there. I've got my the second contact, the second input here. So there's my second input. So I1 for the start, I2 for the stop. It's normally open because remember the normally closed function is taken care of by the stop button in the field, unless we're using that function, the special Z1 function, Z1, Z2, Z1 to Z4 function keys. Okay, now I want to put a hold-in contact off Q1. So that's at this stage to do the hold-in contact. This is where I select Q1, and I left mouse click and drag that up and drop that down. Okay, I need a vertical. I now need to fill in the lines here. So some horizontal bars and some vertical bars. All I do is I just left mouse click on the line. Left mouse click, and here for a vertical. I just select the line and just left mouse click, and that fills it in. As you can see, I can put it down here. I've got an odd one sitting there. If I click on it again, it deletes it. So I can simply add on delete just by clicking on it with the cursor. Okay, I'll now need to so I've now simply got a simple on start stop there. I need to save that. Okay, I need to give it a name. So call it example 2. Try and put an L in there for spelling. Okay, so I'll save that. Okay, I can then transfer that to the actual module, to the PC module, by simply going transfer program to the module. Okay, and simply click OK. The program in the module will be erased, so make sure you understand what you're doing here if you're out in the field. Okay, then I'm transferring the new program, so I'm wiping out the old program I had in there and transferring a new program to it. Okay, actually before that step, you can also simply go to simulation mode before actually downloading to it. If you go to simulation mode, you can actually check the working of your program. I can force that on, and force that one on, click on run, and I can see my program actually running in simulation mode. So you can see here simulation mode. So this is not actually on the PLC. I'm just doing it in simulation mode. So I can simulate any program before I actually connect to the PLC. So I'll stop that. Okay. Alright, I'm now going to go to monitoring mode because I did load that program into the PLC. So it's now going through the what we saw before when we actually uploaded the program to monitor it. Okay, I click on run. Okay, it's now in run mode. As you can see here, the red lines stop at the first input. So it's waiting for inputs from the field. Okay, as opposed to when we had the Z1 keys there, where I simply used the buttons on the front of the Zelio to actually operate it. I can force them on like I did before. Force that. Okay, I'll force that one on. I can simply force. I can do a momentary forcing here. Okay, switch it on, switch it off. So that's off now, but the hold in function is working. Okay, I release that and switch it off. And that's acting on the PLC itself and on the smart relay itself. So it's actually switching that contact, that output on and off. Okay, I'll go back to edit mode. Now, so also we've got available to us. I'll just delete. I'm just going to change this program now, so I'm just in edit mode. Cut. We also have internal relays available to us. So I can use. So if I don't want to waste my external relays, I've only got 10 of them. In the program, I can use an internal relay, and I can change that there to the holding contact there. So the start stop. If I wanted to use my Z keys, I drag those up there. Simple as that. Z1, Z2. Now and there, I've simply changed that program there from to use the special the function keys, the Z1, the Z2. But because my Z2 is a normally open switch, I'll have to simulate that as normally closed on here. Okay, so if I just right mouse click and then click normally closed, I change that to a little Z2, which then gives me a normally closed function. Okay, so I'm using an internal relay. I can then select a timer. Here I've got my timer. I drag that up and place the timer. I'll need the contact off M1. Okay, so using M1, dropping that into there, closing that. Whoops. Okay, you can now see that I've got when I activate my internal contact, it'll bring on the timer. Okay, if I right mouse click on the timer and bring up the parameters window, my timer can change to many different types of functions. I've got the normal function here, which is you can see here with the when the power comes onto the timer, after a time delay, the timer will activate. This one here requires a reset. So in this case, I can have a pulse, which will which after a time delay will turn the timer on, but it won't turn off until I see a pulse. Now I've got a function. I've got a time delay off. So here, where I activate, the timer will come on straight away. But then when I switch off, the timer will turn off after a time delay. And there's many more functions there, so you can go through and look at by looking at the timing diagram. It'll explain to you what the timer is actually going to be doing. So I'm back to my basic function here, which is just a simple timer on delay. Okay. Now I need to tell it what I need to tell it how long to run, how long the time for the timer. And I've got my selections here. I can use milliseconds, I can use seconds, and here I'm simply inputting 10 seconds. So I've now set it up for a 10-second timer. Okay, I now need my timer to actually do something. So I say, okay, let's from my timer, now selecting timer 1 there, drop that in. So there's the contact off my timer 1. I'm then going to actually have an output, so Q1. So this is my first actual output, because the M1, of course, was an internal relay. Okay, join those together. Okay, now you can see up here I've got a little eye, a little monitoring eye. See how it's red. You see I click on the last bar there. It's telling me, okay, that it's verifying the program for us. Okay. All right. So in this case now, I want to save that. So I've just clicked on to save that. So I've saved my program. I can then go through the process then of simply transferring that to the from the PC to the module, in this case the Zelio relay. Okay, I can run that in simulation mode. So there I've got simulation mode. I can click on run. That's running. I'll have to force this on. Momentary forcing. Okay, that's switched on the timer. As we watch it, 10 seconds later, the actual Q1 output will run. We're only in simulation mode, so we're not connected to the Zelio smart relay here. Okay, so I'm back to edit mode again. Now, so we've looked at the inputs. We've got the 16 inputs. We've got the special Z1 to Z4 inputs. We've got the internal relays. We've also got our external relays, 1 to 10, which we looked at in a previous video. We've got timers. We've also got counters. There are other functions here too. There's comparators. There's clocks. Text blocks. You can put in text blocks. And backlighting, and also summer winter function there. Okay, so a range of functions there. So that's a basic overview of your Zelio software. Okay, well, I'm Ian Evans, and Thank you for listening.